Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to set up Unreal Engine for development with the Oculus Quest 2. The reason why I'm creating a tutorial is because of lack of information in the tutorials that others have provided, and I feel that I can give a more in-depth tutorial after spending multiple hours trying to figure out how to set up Unreal Engine for Oculus development. So you will need a couple of accounts to be able to actually do this. You will need an Oculus developer account, which is tied to your Facebook account. You will need an Epic Games account, and then you will also need a free Oracle account as well. Other than that, you shouldn't need anything else account-wise, and those are all free to get. There's no subscriptions or anything I have to pay. To start, we will download all the launchers that we need. You'll want to download the publishing license for Unreal Engine. The reason why is it is for game development. I've already got Unreal and everything installed, set up. However, I will show you the process of going through it. Now, next, we will go to the Learning and Support tab, then to Documentation, and once we are on the documentation, we will go down to Sharing and Releasing Projects. This will have all the information for developing for mobile and virtual reality. So we will go to the Android game development rather than going down to Oculus, because the Oculus Quest 2 and the Quest 1 are both Android devices. So you will need to set up Android development for Unreal Engine to be able to get this to work. Now next, we will go into the setting up Android SDK and NDK for Unreal. These are required for the Android development through Unreal, and even if you're using it for just regular Android development, it's good to have this. Now this is for version 4.25 and later. The tutorial is geared for 4.26.1 and 2. Its newest version is 4.26.2, and this will work. Now, they used to use NVIDIA CodeWorks instead of the Android Studio up until version 4.24, but ever since 4.25 came out, they've been using Android Studio, and it's recommended that if you're upgrading from 4.24 or earlier, that you have to uninstall CodeWorks before you install Android Studio. So first we'll go through the setup of an Android Studio. It requires a very specific version of Android Studio. You can't just use the latest version. So we will control-click, go over to this Archives, except that you won't need to sign into anything here. And you will go all the way down to 3.5.3 and open that up. It'll say December 5th, 2019 was when that was released. You'll download the Windows IDE installer or the Mac installer or whatever other installer you need. For me, it's Windows. It will take a moment to download. It is on nearly a gig file, so keep that in mind. Now, nobody tells you this whenever you're trying to set up Unreal Engine and Android development with it. You will need a version of Java 8 specifically. That's an older version, and you will need the Oracle Java account to download those older versions. I'm not sure why they changed it. You used to be able to just download it without a problem, but now you have to have the free account to be able to download it. So we will go into, we will look up Java 8, and we will get the download for Java 8. Let's see. Here we go. The Java JRE runtime. I will leave links down in the descriptions so you don't have to do these searches below. I will just give you the links that you need. You'll need the Windows version. Sometimes you'll need Linux. Sometimes you'll need Mac. It just depends on what your operating system is. I'm running Windows, so I'll download the Windows version. And then you'll sign into your account. If you haven't created one, you'll just create one right here. And once you sign in, it will download that. So that'll be good to go. And the last thing you'll need is Visual Studio Community 2019. This isn't a completely necessary thing for right now, but I will possibly be making another tutorial on configuring the VR expansion plugin for Unreal Engine to work with the Quest 2, and it does require a Visual Studio. Plus, it's just great to have it here for development, because sometimes the blueprint scripting isn't the best solution for programming within Unreal Engine. Sometimes you will need to use C++ for things. So having that Visual Studio is just going to help out a lot. Now, I'll also provide a link to that down in the description. Now, finally, I will go over to the developer.oculus.com. I'm already signed in, but I will actually log in. I think I need to actually log in. And it's linked to your Facebook account. So if you have a Facebook account, all you got to do is just sign into your Facebook, and you'll be able to create a app for, or you'll be able to create the I'm sorry, I'm losing track of my mind. You will be able to create a Facebook account to be a developer for Oculus, to be able to run your code directly on the headset for the Quest. And I'll show you how to set that up later on once we get done installing everything. But for now, we will go down here to the Develop tab on the Oculus developer site. We will go down to, I don't know, actually we'll go to Learn. I think it's under the Learn tab. So we'll go to, no, I've been back under the Develop tab. Let's see. Oculus documentation. Okay, yeah. So we'll go to the Oculus documentation, then Unreal Engine, and we will do the Quest Quick Start, and that will get things set up for being able to use your device, or use Unreal Engine with your device. So next, what we'll do is we will head back over to setting up the NDK, and first we will install the JRE. I've already got it installed, but here's how you open it up. It will require you to go through and have the admin privileges. If I click install, it might say that it's already installed. Actually, no, it doesn't, surprisingly. Usually it would detect if it's already installed, but I've already set it up, so I don't necessarily need this to install because it's already on here. Next, we will go over to the Android Studio, and this is one of them that will require a restart. Now, I've already set up the Android Studio. I don't have to worry about it, but it'll ask you to install it, and I already got a previous version, so it's going to ask me to uninstall that version. I'm not going to worry about that for right now, but you will go through the setup. it'll ask you to basically go through and do all this. You will need to click the Android virtual device on there, so that way you can test it out on the computer. It'll ask you to select the default folder. I wouldn't change it. I'd just leave it at the C file, just because it'll be easier for Unreal to find. And then you'll install it. And then once you get done installing it, it will have you to set up. It says do not import settings. I haven't tried to import any previous settings before. If you're doing Android Studio for the first time, you won't have them, so you don't import them. But if you've done it before, just use the stock configuration and not import any special configurations. The first time you set it up, it'll also ask you to send usage statistics, or you don't have to Google. I would select no, don't send if you aren't comfortable with that, but otherwise you can send it for whatever reason you'd want to. Now, the Unreal development pane doesn't, or the documentation doesn't show this, but when you are on this screen where it has like the car, the TV, the watch, the phone, etc., there will be a little notification that covers up these buttons that are down here, and it'll ask you to update to a newer version of Android Studio. Press the X button. You do not want to upgrade to a newer version of Android Studio at this time. It won't work. Once you close out of that notification, you can just go on and install as it shows, and you'll want to use the custom install, and then you'll go to select your theme. You can either choose a dark or a light theme. I'm not sure which you'd prefer, but I prefer the dark theme myself. After that, you'll verify your settings and make sure that everything is in the right place. Otherwise, it might mess up. So after you're done with that, this doesn't show you a step that I'm going to show you. This will just make it easier for you in the future. So what I will do is I will go to Android Studio, and what I'll do whenever I get an Android Studio is you do have to have a specific version of the NDK in there, and you'll want to have specific versions of the SDK. So you'll go to Configure, SDK Manager, and on the main SDK platforms, you'll want to select everything going back to probably version 19. I actually didn't have that, so I'll just go ahead and select version 19. That'll be 4.4 KitKat, and I'll do OK. And I'll basically install everything that's necessary. While that's working, I will move that over to the side. Okay, I cannot click. So we'll just let this install real quick. Okay, that's done. Next, we'll go back in here. We'll go to SDK Tools, select Show Package Details, and you'll want to scroll down to the NDK where it says 21.0.6113669. That is a specific NDK version we need for this to work. If you do not have this version, it will not work. That's what it's going to try to show to set up through the next steps, but sometimes it won't work. And you also need to install, if you're using the AMD processor instead of Intel, you will want to have the Android emulator hypervisor driver for AMD processors. I'm not sure if we necessarily need the emulator for Intel because of that, so I don't have it installed on here. But that's what you'll need. And once you're done, it won't require you a restart again, and you'll be good on the Android. Next, you'll want to install Visual Studio, and it'll go through that kind of setup with you all and install it. The first time you set it up, it will ask you to sign in to a Microsoft account. You don't have to. You can just click, once you have it installed, you can just click no thanks, I'll sign in later, and then you can select your theme and it'll take you into the environment, and you won't need to do anything with that. But you will, whenever you're done installing it, or maybe sometimes whenever you're setting it up, you'll want to go into the Visual Studio Installer application. After you're done setting it up, if it doesn't give you the option during to modify your install, and you'll need certain plugins on top of just the base Visual Studio install. So you will want to have the game development with C++, which you will need the C++ profiling tools, C++ address sanitizer, the latest Windows 10 SDK. You can add other versions also. And then Unreal Engine installer and Android IDE support for Unreal Engine. You will also need, as far as individual components, which I actually have a couple more that I'll need to get. Well, I don't think you actually really need them. But you will need to have the 5.0 runtime, the runtimes for Core 2.1, 2.2, 3.0, and 3.1, the Framework 3.5 development tools, and the targeting pack for all versions of 4, going all the way up to 4.7.2, and then you will also need the SDK for 4.8, as well as anything else that it says that it has selected here. Those are everything that you need to have for Unreal Engine, and because of that, you will have to install it. And I don't know if it'll need you to do a restart after modifying the installation, but the first time that you do install Visual Studio, you will want to restart your computer after. So it'll ask some selections aren't supported, and won't receive security updates. Just continue. You won't need to worry about that too much. It's just for support. I don't know if it'll need it or not, but it's good to have it just in case if you do need it. So it'll go through and install everything real quick. It shouldn't take too long. And it is just about done, it looks like. It says it's installing, might take a while. It shouldn't take that long though. If you have an SSD, it might take another minute or two. I'll resume this whenever it gets done installing this. Alright, so I'm back now. I think it does want me to do an update, but I don't have to do it right now, so we'll X out of this. Once you've done all of that, I think that you don't necessarily have to do any of this because we've manually installed the that specific version of the NDK, so we will skip that for now. Now, next we will finally jump into the Epic Games launcher, and you'll install that if you haven't installed it. If you have installed it, you will go in and basically it'll show in your library. If you go to the Unreal Engine tab, it'll show like engine versions. I've already got 4.26.2 installed, but if you don't, you will click the plus to install a new version, and then you'll click whatever the newest version is, which is 4.26.2. You could also use 4.25.4, but you will lose some of the features that were introduced into 4.26. So it's up to you which version you pick, but this setup should work with both 4.25 and 4.26. Now you'll go into Unreal Engine once it's installed. It will take a minute to load in, and we will start by creating a new project once we get in here. Should take just a minute. It's setting up VR stuff for me because I have the VR enabled, but most likely it won't have VR enabled the first time you go in. So let's see. We'll go to game. We'll create a new project. We'll go to games. Next, you can set up any of these templates. We'll just set up with the virtual reality template for now, but normally you can use blank or whatever. We'll go next. For VR specifically, you'll want to go to scalable 3D or 2D, ray tracing disabled, mobile tablet, and it doesn't matter whether you're trying to develop for a PC VR or for the Quest VR. It will require you do mobile and tablet just because VR is a bit different from a PC game, a standard PC game most of the time. So it will rather you have the mobile tablet, so that way it's running a little bit lighter and you can run it at higher frame rates. You'll select no starter content. Sometimes it'll have with starter content selected. You do not want to do the starter content with this. Then you'll select whatever location you want for the project. Then you'll do a project name. So I'll name this VR Setup Tutorial. You can't use any spaces. Unreal's very finicky on file names, and having any spaces in there or certain types of characters just won't fly. You'll create the project and it'll load everything up. Give it just a minute. Especially the first time you create a project, it'll take a long time because it's trying to initialize everything. SSDs, it will run a lot faster. Like, it looks like it's getting ready to set up here. But if you're on a hard drive, be prepared to wait. It will take a long time to get everything up and going. I would prefer to be on an SSD because things will run much, much faster with Unreal Engine off of an SSD versus off of the hard drive. So now that it's installed, it's asking about plugins. We actually do have to go in and manage a plugin. But first we're going to set up the Android SDK, make sure that it's set up. So you'll go to project settings, which if it's not showed up in a window over here, you go to edit and then project settings. You'll scroll all the way down to platforms and then to Android SDK. I've already got all my Android versions set up, but what you'll do is if you're looking for the SDK, you'll go to your C drive, users, your username. You'll go down to app data. You'll need to enable show hidden files, then local, then Android SDK, and then you'll select the folder. You'll go to the same place and it should save your location at that point. You'll go to NDK and then you'll select the right version, which is the 21.0.6113669 that we have. And then finally, we'll go and set up our Java edition, which is in a different place. We'll go all the way back out to our C drive. So, and then we'll go to Program Files, Java, and then the JRE 1.8.0_281. You'll select the latest API level and NDK API level, specific version or latest, Android-19. Now, once you have that set up, it'll have that saved, and we will go back to Edit and then Plugins. Now, all the plugins that are enabled, it'll ask you to do here on the Unreal developer page. So it'll show, like, the first few things is just setting up Unreal, creating the project settings. That'll tell you all the information that I just gave you. Now, if you don't have the plugin enabled, which you probably won't your first time, you'll go to Edit and then Plugins like I showed you. Choose the virtual reality portion, and down here, and let's see, that's virtual production, not virtual reality. You'll need to enable the Oculus VR plugin. You could also enable some of these other plugins, but it's not necessary at this point. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Steam VR might be plugged in as well. That might be helpful just for testing with other versions, with other headsets that work with Steam VR instead of Oculus. You can also enable the mixed reality stuff also if you really wanted to, but you don't have to. Every time that you create a new plugin, or select a new plugin, once you're done selecting the plugins, you'll need to restart the engine, and that takes, it'll be just a button, it'll take a few seconds to restart, and it'll be fine. So we'll see here, it'll say restart now, and it'll just take a few seconds to restart. So next, for project settings, it'll ask for a map. So we've already got a map set up on here, but if it doesn't, you will go to, if you don't have a map in your project, you will go to create a map. So, file, you can go new level, default, file, save as 01, say save, and then we'll go back in here to the project and maps and modes. We'll select the new map that we just created, and next we will go to supported platforms, select Android as a supported platform. Target hardware, we've already set that up, so it's not a big deal. Next, we will go to engine and then input. Sometimes it'll have the mobile input, like it'll have this. If it's set up like this, you'll just press clear, and you won't use any of that. Next, you'll go down to the platforms again. You'll go to the Android, that just by itself, instead of Android SDK. It says project is not configured for the Android platform. You will press configure now, and it says that it's writable. You'll set the minimum SDK version to 23. You'll set the target to 25 according to Oculus's settings. Oculus doesn't tell you this, but you should enable the game data or package game data inside APK. Next, you will have enable full screen immersive on KitKat and above devices. That's already enabled, I believe. Let me look and just make sure, but I believe that's already enabled. Enable full screen. Yes, it is enabled, so you don't have to worry about that. Next, ARM v7, ARM64 support as well. It says just ARM v7, but it's nice to have the ARM64. In fact, I don't even think this says for sure, but it's nice to have both because it fixes issues. Then we'll go down to the advanced APK packaging, go down to package for Oculus mobile devices, and you'll add an array for Oculus Quest 2 and Oculus Quest. Let's see what it says next. Okay, we'll go back up to engine. We'll go to rendering, go all the way up to the top. It'll say number of CSM cascades to render 2. You'll set the mobile MSAA to 4x. You'll scroll down to the VR portion, and you will turn off mobile HDR. That will require a restart. We need to make sure we have all the settings selected. Alright, so I think that's everything for settings that you need, and it'll restart it. And that should have everything set up for Oculus development on the Unreal side. Now, next, what we will do for setting up your Oculus Quest for development, so that way you can build this package up to your headset. We're going to go into the Get Started. Now, if you aren't already an Oculus developer, it'll ask you to sign up. And once your account's connected where you can sign up, it'll go to My Quest. We'll go to My Quest. Let's see. Wait, I actually don't think that we need to do anything on this end. Once we have it all set up and everything, so setting up the device, we will... Let's see. Let's go to Unreal Engine. We'll go to the Oculus Quick Start. Set up your device. Mobile device setup. So, yeah, let's see. We'll go to, you'll have to create an existing, or you'll need to request access to the existing organization from the admin. Joining or creating. Okay, you will need to create an organization here. I'll leave this link down below as well. I've already got an organization, so once you have that set up, you'll need to go into developer settings. So you'll follow these instructions, and you will need the Oculus app on your phone to enable developer mode. I'll actually just link this below because it's not too hard to figure out. But that'll be all you have to do to set up the Oculus for developer mode on the Quest. So that is how you set up everything for the Oculus Quest to develop in Unreal Engine 4. And I hope that helps you out a lot. Tune in next time, and we will develop, or we will set up the VR expansion plugin for Unreal Engine 4 for the Oculus Quest, and that's where the Visual Studio will come in handy. But in the meantime, that is all that I have for you today. Thank you, and have a great afternoon.